And good afternoon, Sword family. Welcome to the Teahouse. Tonight, it's going to be an interesting one because our lovely Foxy decided last week to ask me a question that I had not really considered doing an episode on, which is why you can see I have my guitar and my guzin right here on the couch, because she wanted to hear more about the differences between Western music and Asian music, which we're going to try to narrow down to just Chinese music, because again, when it comes to Indian music and Arabic music and things like that, I am not as well versed in that yet. But if we have enough time, I did get sent a video on Facebook. Oh, God, weeks ago. Earlier this month. We'll say earlier this month. And it kind of, in a roundabout way, talked about the differences between Western, Romanian, Chinese, and Arabic music, which I thought was interesting. And it is actually kind of funny that I got that video, like I said, earlier this month. I don't really remember exactly when I got it, but I get that video shared to me. And then now, the end of the month, the last show of August, we are doing a show about the differences between Chinese and Western music. So I don't want to give away too much at the very beginning, but there are quite a few differences between Chinese and Western music. And I think that the reason that she wanted to know more about the differences is because we had a conversation once. And I don't even know if she remembers this conversation, but I do. I'm one of those strange romantic partners where I remember most of the conversations I have with my partners. That's how I can get things. Oh, excuse me. For birthdays and Valentine's Days and Christmases, where they will have mentioned something offhand months or even years in the past, and then they'll get it as a gift and be like, oh my God, I'm wrong. And I go, I know. I'm not trying to be arrogant about it. I'm just being like, I know, I listen. For the people who aren't aware, Foxy's birthday is this coming Wednesday. And she is getting something from me and from Kitty that we saw at our local Walmart 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, I remember it that long ago. I just recently got the opportunity to actually pick it up. It's sitting in a box right over there. I have to wait to give it to her until Wednesday. Meanwhile, she got my birthday present she got my birthday present on Tuesday of this week and has to hold on to it for over a month. But she also is very thoughtful with gifts. I don't want to make it sound like I'm the only one in the relationship that does this. And I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but everyone remembers my terracotta army that I got last year because I told the story about my sister breaking my one soldier that I got from the local, well, at a local university when the Terracotta Army was coming through my state years ago, and she just remembered that and was like, oh, so we're going to get him not 1, not 2, not 3, no, 7. I had 1. So I had 1, broke 1. Well, I didn't break it, but 1 was broken. And some 10, 15 years later, I get 7 of them. They sit right on my desk. I need to move them because they're in a spot that's kind of not a great spot to have them. I keep knocking them over when I'm reaching for my meds at the evening or reaching for my my little inhaler here. That's right behind them, so I will frequently knock them over. I want like a shelf or something where I can put them, where they can sit and be safe, and they're not going to fall. This is just, beginning of the show rambling, though. So let's go ahead. Oh, almost. There's 50. Just as I was just about to say, we have almost 50 comments to get through. I saw one more pop in, and now we're at 51. So we should probably run through these pretty quickly, and then we will get started on the actual topic. Because anyone who has watched this show for more than a few episodes is fully aware of the fact that I have a tendency to ramble for like the first half hour of the show and then actually get to things. But it's going to be, I think this one's going to be informative, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping people are going to learn from this one. Oh, come on. Am I still here? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought I was losing people again, but no, we're good. We're good. All right, here we go. And first through the door is not Foxy, but Dan at 5:01 p.m. Good evening, Dan. And an evening from Foxy, and dang it, my stuff went away, didn't it? Apparently, first thing I have is Dan. So you found the cutoff wherever it is. And Carl joined us. Greeting Foxy, Dan, and everyone. How's it going, Carl? Oh, Carl. Before I forget, I have not heard back from the new friend that I made last weekend. So I would like to formally ask if you would be willing to come on for tea time sometime in September. I don't care what Saturday it is, whichever one is available. And you will be my tea time guest for September. And we can talk more about philosophy and a little bit about Buddhism and some of your past therapy and how being a Buddhist has helped with not wanting to throttle patients. Literally any Saturday in the month. It does not matter to me. But that is who I was talking about last week when I said possibly bringing someone else. My new connection has not gotten back to me yet, so I would like to formally ask on camera. And Donna greeting Foxy, Dan, and the Woodsman Dude. Hey, Donna. Hey, Donna. Lose something, Foxy? Her mind, but, Welcome to the Teahouse. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, please do. If you're not subscribed, why not? Indeed, but it's been a day, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, we went to the farmer's market, and then we went and took Inigo out because they were doing a free vaccine day at the local animal shelter. So we had quite a morning. Plus, it's been cloudy and overcast most of the day. A little bit rainy, which doesn't bother me. Oh, excuse me. Because it's not been sweltering hot today. It's been in like the mid to high 70s. I'm not complaining. It's been a good weekend. And hi from Kitty. Hey, Kitty. Went to farmer's market, raspberry and tomatoes, and got Inigo his shots as a free vaccine clinic, and he's doing more than fine. Greetings to Kitty. Good for Inigo. Thinking about raiding the fridge to get those berries, which she did. Was so good about it all. No flinch or yips or anything. Yeah. Off to grab berries. Bestie gave me a bag of huge cucumbers, bag of tomatoes, bag of green and red peppers, and gave Whitman Dude a bag of hot peppers. Nice. My parents used to have a garden in their backyard, but with everything that's been going on, they didn't do it. They haven't done it for the last several years, which is kind of sad, but only eaten one. I think he met his match. And Carl agrees. Back with Inigo, he loves raspberry. I don't think I found much that he doesn't like except for gummies. And even then, there are some that he'll eat. But when I get like my gummy bears or gummy worms, he'll come and beg at me for them. And I'll give him one and he'll bleh. Bleh. It's entertaining. Smart pupper, and he definitely is. Yep. Oh, dear. Got the show on the big screen while we eat. I'm sorry. Hey, Trey, Joe, and all the kitties. Yes. Hi, Trey and Joe. Hey there. And evening all from Ruby. How's it going, Ruby? And there's Captain Joe. Evening, folks. And more greetings for Ruby. And more greetings for Ruby. Oh, boy. Survived about 4 hours of grilling corn on the cob today for a food giveaway. Well, at least you were doing something and not just standing there in the heat. Set down a raspberry for Inigo. He wouldn't take it till I picked it up and gave it to him. Yeah. Well, you got corn in that bag right there. We don't have a grill. We probably should pick that up. Looking forward to this episode. Like to know more about Chinese music. Well, we're going to get there. Should be a good one. Here we go. And there's Midnight. What's up, sword people? Greetings to Midnight. Greetings to Midnight. Greetings to Midnight. Emerald heard the intro music for the first time and was entranced. Well, you obviously have cats with, refined tastes and all that. Timer just went from 12 minutes to 47 minutes. Good job, YouTube. Okay. Refresh. This is absolutely true. Jackie Chan actually has a really good singing voice. Yes, he does. And what most people don't realize, especially the people who have only seen like his Hollywood movies, is almost all of his movies in Asia, he sings the theme songs for those movies. Like, I remember telling someone that, and first of all, they weren't even aware that he had other movies besides the Hollywood movies, which, come on now. But they sat down and watched one. I don't even remember what it was. And they're like, that's not Jackie Chan. Yes, it is. That's him. That's him singing. He also did the voice for General Shang in the Chinese dubbed version of Mulan. And, of course, sang the Chinese version of I'll Make a Man Out of You, which if you haven't heard it, if you don't know that song, go listen to it. Because he really, him and Jay Cho, I could name off, like, just Chinese singers. Had to refresh twice. I'm sorry. Got it before I could forget things. Blech. My God. Out of there. You ate that whole freaking container. Wow. Did Witzman dude. Greetings to me. Cut off got me. Nice. Be happy to whenever you have an empty spot. Just pick any Saturday next month. It doesn't matter. Next month is going to be kind of awful because Foxy has quite a few doctor's appointments in September. Most of them are kind of like midweek. So like any Saturday, just pick one. I don't care. That'll be a good episode. I hope so. And Pro joining us. How's it going, Pro? Pro greeting Foxy, and Trey greeting Pro, and Foxy greeting Pro, and Pro greeting Carl, and Donna, and Joe. Cat has my hand trapped. Emerald got booster shots today too. Nice. Been a little purr machine since we got home. He prefers fruit snacks to gummies, which is true, but the fruit snacks are also gummies. So I don't know. Glad she's not the type to hide after. Yeah. And more greetings to Pro, and we are all caught up. Okay, so howdy, and of course, howdy do you thesis? Thank you, Pro. 12th, let me look at my calendar here. Yeah, that works. Okay, guys, there you go. In 2 weeks, Carl will be our esteemed guest on Tea Time, where we will talk about philosophy and Buddhism. And yeah, that works. September 12th. Okay. So now someone has to give me an idea for next Saturday. All right, so I am, I suppose, a musician. I do have one song up. Yeah, you think about it. Everyone think about it. I have one song up on Bandcamp. That one person decided to make an entire Bandcamp account just to basically tell me don't give up my day job. But I have loved music most of my life. Like growing up, I cannot think of a time in my life where there wasn't music around. So music is definitely a passion of mine. So it's kind of surprising that I never actually thought of doing this as an actual topic for the show. But I have done a fair bit of research over the last week. And here is what I have found. The biggest difference that you're going to find between Western and Chinese music is the music scale. Now, for someone who considers themselves a musician, I am not great at reading musical notation. I'm learning slowly because I am in my 40s. Oh yeah, music is absolutely an individual taste. Absolutely. But once you get out of like high school and college, when you're learning something new, and this is true, as your brain ages, it becomes more difficult to take on new information. Case in point. I have been on Duolingo since 2020. And it started with reviews on Mandarin Chinese and Spanish. I took basically 2 years of Spanish. One in 6th grade, and then 9th grade. I was really good at Spanish. I took 3 years of German in high school. I sucked at German. I was not as good with German. But then I started picking up Scots Gaelic, which, for the people who don't know, is different from Irish Gaelic. Scots Gaelic and Irish Gaelic are actually different languages because of that one. She's very much into Scottish culture. She has Scottish heritage. Of course, so do I. I think a lot of people in America have some kind of Scottish heritage in their lineage. So I picked up Scots Gaelic, and then I recently started Korean. I tried Hindi. Hindi kicked my ass. I tried that for a week, and I'm like, I can't. No. So learning musical notation, for me, I am learning. I am not an expert. And when I write my music, I use tabs. Tabs are different from musical notation. This is a song that I'm working on for the daughter that Foxy and I lost. And you can see these are not notes. I don't know if you can actually see that. Come on, focus out. There you go. See those numbers? That is what is known as a guitar tab or tablature. And what that tells you is the fret and string to put your finger on. So that note right there is an open note on the bottom string. See, that's what's funny about tablature. This up here is not your top string. That's your bottom string. Tablature is upside down because, I'm going to grab Acacia here. For those who don't know, this is Acacia. This is my guitar. When you're looking at your guitar, you're looking at it from above. So the bottom string that's that note right there. I don't know if you can hear that. Hold on. Let me get a little bit closer. That's an open note. That is our high E string. So I am learning musical notation thanks to Duolingo. I'm also learning chess. So, yes, music is definitely individual, and yes, hers is eclectic, and so is mine. Brain has evolved to learn rapidly as a kid for survival, then it starts applying energy to other things, but it is worth learning new things as you age. Yes. I'm one of people, I hate being stagnant. I know so many people, my parents included, that just stopped learning when they left high school in the 70s. You know, I graduated high school. I don't need to learn anything ever again. I can't do that, which is why I love here when people bring up things that I never thought of. I get a chance to learn things that I never really considered, like, meh. Can I be Beethoven? I would not want to be Beethoven, but it is definitely true. Was blessed with a decent voice, but my ability to play things is limited. And we have several instruments in this house besides these two. I also have a dizi, which is a transverse, I believe. It is a Chinese flute. We have the bodhran, the Scottish drum. I want to get a Chinese drum. I have one on my Amazon list, which is scrolling down here right now. That's my Amazon gift list. Anybody wants to send me gifts, I would really like a drum, a Chinese drum. So scale. Most people who know Western music know the Western scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I know that was terrible. I'm not a singer. Leave me alone. That is what I have discovered a diacritic scale. It is a 7-note scale. Now, if you actually count those, that's 8. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's 8. So why it is a 7-note scale? Well, you start over after you get to the 7. You start back at the end. Anybody who remembers the song from childhood, do, a deer, a female deer, you get all the way to the end, and that brings us back to do. It's a 7-note scale. It's called a diacritic. Chinese music, on the other hand, is a pentatonic scale. 5 notes. They leave off the fa and the ti. So they have do, re, mi, sol, la, and then back to do. It's a 5-note scale. Pentatonic versus diacritic. Now, I haven't found anything over the last week of research that shows the difference in time scale. I think a lot of Chinese music is in the same standard timing that Western music is in. So what is standard timing? For most music, you're going to find what is called a 4/4 time. So what does 4/4 time mean? 4/4 time means that all of the music is bracketed in 4-note sections, and you get 1 note for every section. That's 4/4 time. So 4/4 time is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4/4 time. Now I have seen some wacky time signatures in music. I have seen like 6/12, where it's in brackets of 12 and you get 6 for every 12. That one was kind of crazy. You could have 3/4 time where it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4th note isn't there. It's a break. I have not seen Chinese music not in 4/4 time. Like, let's bring this back up here again. See this where it just says tab? On a lot of musical notation, that will tell you the time signature. Let me see if I can find something to show you what I'm talking about here. No, not time zones. What are you doing? Time zones? What are you? Does that one? No, that one doesn't. That doesn't. Doesn't show you. I need one that shows the actual scale. That's just. There's one. Okay, cool. That works. So let's go ahead and share that. Learn how to read music and play 2 instruments. Nice, but had very little music theory. Wish they had taught more. Yeah. I didn't really take any music classes in school, and I kind of wish I would have, especially now. Okay, so we're going to bring this up So here we can see this is a 3/4 time. So you see this measure line is showing you the end of this. And there's 1, 2, 3 in this measure. There's 3 in this measure. This is a 3/4 time. 4/4 is what's considered standard time. So you would have another note in here. They would be evenly spaced out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4/4 time. Enjoy choir much more than band. That's because you sing, but so that is standard time. Chinese music, from what I can see, is also standard time. Now, the scale, you know, the diacritic versus the pentatonic is not the only difference. Chinese music focuses more on the flow and the melody. Western music focuses more on rhythm and harmony and chord progression. So I have to bring up this story. And Foxy, if you want to tell your side of this story, feel free. But I kind of mentioned this during the intro. But we had a conversation years ago. I was listening to some Chinese music in the living room on YouTube. And she came in from the bedroom. And she sat there for a minute listening to the song. And when the song ended, she basically goes, you know, I think I figured out the reason why Chinese music bothers me. And I'm like, well, wait, hold on, wait a minute. It bothers you? Like, why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't listen to it. And she's like, no, hold on. She's like, I keep waiting for a note that's not there. What do you mean by that? And she couldn't really like explain it better than that. She couldn't like tell me what she meant. She just there's a note there, but it's not there, and my brain is waiting for it, and it bothers her ADHD because it's not there, but her brain is expecting it to be there. And it's raining. We'll have to, keep an eye on things, and hopefully we don't get booted out of StreamYard. But if I do, I will try and be back. And I think I figured out why her brain is expecting a note that's not there. It's because of the difference in scale. The diacritic 7-note scale versus the pentatonic 5-note scale. She's waiting for one of those notes because, like I said, the Chinese scale, you have the Western do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The Chinese cuts out the fa and the ti, or the 4th and the 7th. Those are not there in the Chinese scale. So those notes, she's expecting them to come, and they don't. They just don't appear. So I think that's why she's waiting for a note that doesn't come. Because she's waiting for the part of the scale that doesn't exist in Chinese music. It just does not exist. And the first musical scales, from my research, the very first musical scales were derived from harmonics, frequency. So let's bring out this lovely beauty that I don't know if anyone has seen here, at least, since I did the episode on the gudin, unless you watched my tuning video, which if you haven't, you should. But, ow, that was my knee. This is my gudin. And you see these dots here. That, they're equal lengths across the string. This divides the string into 13 sections. So this first dot here, if I press that just like a guitar, I don't even know if you can hear that. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. Rest it on the couch. Get close to the microphone. Pressing that first dot on the first string. Hear that? That is basically a half note. So you get a half, a third, 2/3, a quarter, 3/4, all the way down the length of the string until you get to the very last dot, all the way down here. And that sounds like this. Can you hear that? You know what? Let me get my finger picks out, because this actually does help. My finger picks. One sits sideways on the thumb, and all the rest of them are basically replacement fingernails. So let's do that again. Last dot. So the difference between this and this, that's a very hollow sound. Yes? But down here, it's a very deep, rumbly sound. Then we can hit around the middle. That's a very rich sound. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear it. If we come down to our highest string on our first dot, that's very sharp. We go down to the end. Once again, very deep. We go to the middle. That one has more of a, that's not as rich because this is your highest note. Harmonics are the basis for building chords in Western music. Yes, that's why they were the first scales. Yes, rain. And it looks like it's, no, I was going to say it looks like it's already slowing down, but it's not. Come on. I was going to ask if Eastern music ever used chords. Yes and no. So a chord in Western music is when you play basically two strings at the same time. You don't see them as much in Chinese music, but you can have playing two strings at the same time, like this. That's a chord. Both of them at the same time. You hear this one a lot. Your top and bottom strings at the same time. My fingers were good, but my lips were better. So I played the trumpet. Okay. Yeah, that was a very green room comment. Hold on. We're gonna. I have that. Hold on. Yep. I'm gonna bring that up. There we go. So when you're playing the gujin, that 5-note scale. Now here's the strange thing. Okay. We have a 5-note scale, pentatonic. This has 7 strings. But what are the notes that this is tuned to? It is C, D, F, G, A, and then we go back. High C, high D. It's still 5 scale. It just starts over. The same thing happens here with the guitar. This is standard tuning. C, D, F, G, A, C, D. 5 notes. My guitar, standard tuning, E. You probably can't hear that, me being this far away. Okay, hold on. We're going to have to rearrange here. Okay. E, A, D. Hold on. Yeah. E, A, G, no, D, G, B, E. So this is 6 strings, but only 5 notes. E, A, D, G, B, high E. So how can we have a 7-note scale, but only have 6 notes? Because, first of all, that's not the only tuning out there. That's not the only tuning for the gujin either. There's a lot more of those. But standard E tuning is EAD, GBE. Didn't have much to do with my fingers and band, but there was still a lot of tonguing with the trombone. All right, guys. See, we have a lot of musicians in the chat. Makes a difference, doesn't it? So we have the Chinese scale, 5 notes. We have the Western scale, 7 notes. That is your first difference. If you're looking at just that, I already showed you. Yeah, the organ, not something you could play in band. Not really, no. That would be quite difficult to you imagine a marching band and someone at the back of the band with a giant organ being pushed by like 12 people. We have another flute player. See, we have a lot of musicians in the audience. So a lot of this is probably, review for them when it comes to the Western stuff. I'm going to look for something because I want to show you. Okay, that one's not bad. I want to show you what a Gujin tab looks like. Because if you don't know what you're looking at, and I'm still learning, if you looked at this compared to the guitar tab, you would have no idea what you were doing. Because it isn't written in the same fashion. So we're going to go ahead. Better now with portable keyboards. Keytars! Keyboard guitars from like the 80s and 90s. Yes. You have a flute in there. And a drum. Played a variety of instruments in the garage band, some better than others, but my best instrument was the recording studio, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're going to go ahead and share this little guy. This, no. Yes, I know. Hold on. There we go. This is the Gujin tab. Much than what the Western tab looks like. We have a B sharp, I believe that is. Like I said, I'm still learning. But look, what does that say right there? 4/4 time. Same. Standard tuning. Now, down here, yes, I have the preeminent book for learning Gujin. This was written by Junie L. Jung of the Toronto Gujin Society. Yeah. Mistaking that for a math problem, not a musical tablature. Exactly. Yep. I'm still learning what all the dots and the numbers and stuff mean. But not this last Father's Day, but the one before, I think, Foxy and Kitty got me this book. Let me bring myself back up full screen here. Right down here, it says 4th edition. But guess what? I had an actual conversation with the author of this book because I am part of a Gujin group on Facebook. And somebody was talking about this book, the 5th edition, the most recent edition. And I mentioned that I have been learning the 4th edition. And this is an expensive book. This thing is not cheap. This is like $40, $50 for this book. I don't know what they paid for it because they wouldn't tell me, which is, whatever. Right, yeah. That's the flat, the sharp is the, yeah. Okay, yeah. But this is like a $40, $50 book. When I mentioned in that group that I was still using 4th edition, Junie Jung herself sent me a message asking for my email address so that she could, for free, give me a PDF of 5th edition. It is in my Google Docs right now. She gave that to me for free. Because there was quite a difference in the editions, and she wanted me to have the most up-to-date version. But I am looking for something in here. Okay, here it is. This is notations for your right hand fingering on the gujin. And each symbol on these pages is telling you how to pluck the string. So we have like this first one up here, tuo. That one indicates your thumb plucking inward, this way. This is inward, towards the center of your palm. So if you see that symbol right there, that means to use your thumb and pluck towards your palm. The next one, bo, this one, is the opposite. It's the thumb plucking outward. So if you see that, that's an outward thumb. And it goes through all of the fingers on this one, inward, outward, all the way through. Then you get to basically what Carl's talking about, which is the chords. These symbols. That is playing two strings or more at the same time. So we go down here to li, which is an index finger plucking outward on two or more consecutive strings. That's this one. So instead of just playing one string with your index finger, you can do it twice in a row. Consecutive strings. Let me just quickly. There's my. So if you're going to do that one, rest that on the couch. Consecutive. Nope. See? That was my G and F consecutive. That was an outward, so I screwed it up. We need an inward. That's what that symbol is for. Two consecutive strings played inward. So you go through this entire book. I just knocked my speaker on my foot. And you're learning each of these symbols so that when you see something like that, see how complicated that looks? These two things here. Now we bring this back up. These up here. So these up here. This is telling you what finger to use an inward or outward movement. That's what all these symbols are for. They are below each of the lines, like that one. They look complicated, and they are, but once you know what they mean because of this book, you can look at, oh, come on. There we go. You can look at this, and all of these symbols tell you that right there, for people who remember my numbers, that's a 6. That's a 6. So what this tells you is to play with your ring finger on the 10th position, that's a 10, on the 6th string. This symbol here is a slide down. And that is index forward. So this actually tells you what you're supposed to be playing. And yes, it was incredibly kind. Come on. There we go. Yes, she was an incredibly kind author, and it was very nice of her. Yep. New tablature, new notes, new instrument, new fingering. Need an in-person teacher. You're brave to try it the way you're doing it. I have the opportunity to talk to the author herself. So playing or doing it this way, there are videos. I'm doing the best I can, but it's difficult. But so is relearning the guitar for the first time in 30-ish plus years. So I'm doing the best I can. Not to mention different language. Yeah. So when you saw in here the slide, anyone who has played guitar knows the slide. But with this, it's different. The slide is different. I mean, it's not, but you're going to press on the fret, pluck the string. This is going to be hard to do at this angle. Let's go ahead and bring this down just a little bit. So you press and you slide. But the Chinese slide is more comparable to what is called a bend in Western music, because you don't just slide once. It's not just this is a slide, just, excuse me, from one note, from one fret to the next. Let's try and get our louder string here if we can. That's just a slide. Get my mic pointed at the gujin itself, see if that makes a difference. So here's our slide from one fret to the next. That's just a slide. But when you hear Chinese music, you don't just hear a slide. It sounds more like this. So it's that's a slide in Chinese music. It wiggles your finger on the string. Instead of just going from this spot to this spot, you shake it, you wiggle it back and forth. That's a Chinese slide, which compares, and I would need to plug this thing in for you to actually hear it, to a bend in Western music, which is when you play a note and then you bend the string. I would have to plug this in for you to actually hear the bend. But you're shaking here as well. You're shaking up. It's the same thing. So you do have several similarities in like tactics, we'll say. One day it'll just click, and it does. As you're reading through this book, and like I said, this is the old edition. I have the new one, but I've still been looking through this one because I want to compare the two. But then you get to the back and you actually get actual like music notation with music notes. And down here, you still the same basically liner notes. You get things like this. Now, if you didn't have these down here, you could very easily say that's just Western music. But if you look at the separation, the measure line, that's all the way over here on this song. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's almost a double measure. Actually, that's over a double measure. This is not 4/4 time. And then you get towards the end of the song, and the measure lines almost disappear. There is no measure here. It just plays continuously all the way across. It doesn't tell you to stop. And you have more notations here, under here. And you can see things. No, turn the page. Like this down here. This is original Gujin tabs. Each one of these. Because remember, this is not read this way and then down like Western books are. This is read from this corner down and then back up from here to here. It's read the other direction. Remember that? We did a show about that. That is original Gujin tablature that you would find in old books. And damn pages don't want to turn. This down here is the exact same as what you see over the course of the next 2 pages. It's just translated into what a Western mind could understand. But again, the measure, where is it? That is our measure line. So all of this is a single measure. That's not 4 time. And the end of the book is basically that. You go through the entire book learning what the notes are, what the strings are, which finger plays which note. And then you get to the end and you get actual songs that you can play along with. Some version of this book comes with CDs. And all of the songs in here are on that CD. This is called Seeking Seclusion. So you could go and find that song on the CD and you could play along with it. So you get the beginning of this book, probably the first half of the book is just teaching you the fingering, I know, behave, which direction to pluck, which finger to use, how to do it on the right hand, because most people are right-handed. So this is your actual playing hand. And this is your fretting hand. So then you have a completely separate notation to learn for your left hand on where to put the thumb, the finger, how to press, to tap, to slide. All of that is in the beginning of the book. There's the left hand. So thumb, index, middle finger, and then it tells you what to do with the left hand in a separate symbol. So we have this one right here, which is fan, and fan is place finger accurately on the marked position on the string, touching but applying no force while plucking with the right hand. So this symbol represents the left hand touching the string, but not pressing the string. Touching and pressing are 2 different actions. They're not the same thing. They make different notes. I will show you what I mean. Here, I'm going to pluck. That's my open note. That's my C. And we're going to touch. I'm not applying any pressure. That is the 5th fret or dot. I'm not applying any pressure. That sounds different than that. Now, if I press down, we get a different sound. That's pressing. This is touching. And this is open. You have a different sound depending on how much pressure, depending on how much pressure you put on the string. So let's go ahead and get our louder high D. This is a high D open. That is an open note. Here is touching on the 6th. I'm not putting any pressure at all. And now we press. Pressing, touching. It makes a different sound depending on what you're doing. When it comes to Western music, you don't have anything like that. You have something called palm muting, which I'm actually horrible about. I palm mute almost all the time because I'm not paying attention. But here is, let's go G string. On the 3rd fret, I'm pressing all the way down. That's the 3rd fret on the G string. If I just touch it, you get this. I don't even know if that's coming through. But it's not actually playing anything. You press. Now, palm muting is when you press the palm of your hand against the string behind where you're playing. So, same fret, same string, palm muted. I'm pressing my palm behind my strumming hand, and you get this. It's almost the same sound. Once again, I don't even know if that's coming through. That's a palm muted 3rd fret G string. If I remove my palm, just lift my palm up, we get the regular note. So Western music does not have a difference between pressing down on a string and touching a string. Then there's also a separate tap on a string. A tap is just a quick, slight pressure. You're not pressing all the way down, you're tapping the string. Again, that doesn't happen in Western music. If you're not pressing the fret all the way down, you're not getting a note. One of the things that sound different, the bend on the guzheng or the bend on the guitar. Yes, it is incredibly complicated. And once you know what each finger is supposed to do, you can look at a guzheng tablature and be like, okay, I'm supposed to use this finger on the right hand and pluck in this direction, this finger on the left hand and tap or touch or press or slide Once you understand all of it, it's not any less complicated, but you understand it. It's like it is 100% learning a different language. 100% the same as learning a different language. You're learning a new language. I think I'll get my ukulele. Nice. Haven't played in years, but I can imagine sitting by the fire this winter and playing it. You should. Came through, but I can't even imagine how to touch without pressing. It's incredibly difficult. It really is. Because when you're used to playing this, where, like I said, if you don't press all the way down, let me get my high E on the 3rd fret here. That's pressed all the way down. If I let off, where I'm not pressing all the way down, you just get this hollow kind of. It's not a note. So I'm so used to pressing to get the note that when you get one of these guys out, it tells you to touch or tap, and your brain goes, wait a minute, so I'm only supposed to just rest my finger on the string and get. It still kind of gives you a hollow. It has kind of a hollow sound to it. Because I'm not putting any pressure on this string at all. If I press, you get a richer note. If you're just resting, it's hollow, which is another thing that becomes a difference with Chinese music. They want that hollow sound. That's something that actually comes across. They want you. Come on. They want you to play that hollow note. So that goes back to her and saying she's expecting a note that's not coming. You also get those hollow notes. They want that. Western music, they don't want hollow notes. They want strong, proud notes. But Chinese music, it's like just rest on the string and you get a hollow sound. You get a note that if you were playing on a guitar or if you were playing Western music, they'd say that's wrong. Don't do that. The Chinese music is like, do that. Give us that hollow note. Give us I don't even know another word for it, but hollow. You're touching the string and you're plucking. You're still making a note, but it sounds hollow. I don't even know how else to describe it. Chinese music is, yes, give us those hollow notes so that the ringing notes, the rich notes, sound richer. Because they do. They absolutely do. If you compare. All right, let's see. I want one that you can actually hear. So here is my high C. On the 7th fret, just touching. I'm not pressing, no pressure. I'm watching my mic level to see if this is even coming through. That is a hollow sounding note. So if you play that, and then you press to get the richer note, that note sounds richer after playing that. Or if you play this hollow note and then an open string, it sounds richer compared to the hollow note. So that's why they want those hollow notes. So that the other notes will sound richer and cleaner and clearer. And that goes back to the very beginning of the conversation, where I said that the Chinese music focuses on melody and expressive inflections. Those expressive inflections, when you have a hollow note and then a clean, clear note right after, that clean, clear note sounds better because it's right next to a hollow, quiet note. But we've been going for an hour and a half, and I hope that I have at least given some information about the differences between Western music and Chinese music. A quick recap before we end things. Western music, 7-note scale, and they focus Are we back? I think we're back. Okay. They say we're back. Okay. So 5-note scale, 7-note scale. Western music, harmony, rhythm, chord progression. Chinese music, expressive inflections, lyrical flow, melody. Chinese music wants hollow notes. Western music does not want hollow notes at all. Been very informative. I'm glad. They have similar time signatures, but they're not always the same. Makes me want to listen to a traditional piece or watch a video. Please do. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. I'm going to show you something. Because I want you to do this. Because this is one of my absolute favorites. There is one YouTube video out there that is like literally my favorite Gujin video. It's a traditional song. Come on. Because this is a good one. I enjoy this one quite a bit. You slow little. All right, let's see here. I know this is friggin' dead air, but just give me 1 second. Okay. I'm going to drop this in the comments for people who want to go listen to a traditional Chinese Gujin song. I listen to this one all the time. And I want you to play through it twice. Okay? The first time, close your eyes or like go to a different tab and just listen to it. Then I want you to go back and rewatch it again and pay attention to what her fingers are doing. It's cool. Very informative. Lost him. Yeah, it kicked me out. Oops. Went boom. Foxy let me know. I was using tech support words. It's true. Let me know if I need to hop in. No, I think we're good. I think. Good thing those words were not being broadcast. Yes. Woohoo. There he is. There he is. Good show. And there's the link. It's called Flowing Water. Save link for later. Okay. That is a traditional Gujin song. So, like I said, listen to it the first time. Just listen. And then go back and watch how her fingers are moving, how this hand is plucking in or out, this finger moving. You're gonna need like 3 or 4 watches just to catch all of the little finger movements because they're quick. But it is 7 o'clock. I still need to do, figure out dinner and then cook dinner and then eat dinner. But if anyone has, again, any ideas for next week, go ahead and let me know your Facebook, wherever you can get a hold of me, and we will do something next Saturday. And then the Saturday after that, we will have the great Carl Witzman come on, and we will be discussing philosophy and Buddhism and therapy. Have a great evening. You too, Fro. Great show as usual. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have you heard of the Cheong Som Day and Queens? No. I can very honestly say I have no idea any of those things are. So, yeah. the Chom Seong Dae and Queen Seong Duk. Okay. Well, I will look into that later over the next week, and that might be our topic for next week. Night, Don. Night, Carl. Good night, Dan. Good night, Joe. Night, Foxy. Night, Midnight. All right, I'm going to go before it kicks me out again, but thank you all for coming. I will hopefully be back on Monday for my regular game stream. I don't know if we will pop on Wednesday because Foxy has a doctor's appointment that day and we might not be, back in town by then. But I will see you all next Saturday and Monday. And thank you all for coming. 再见。